Four. Oh. Are we live? Is this thing on? Hello, Disco Ball Nation. If we go live early, that means one thing and one thing only. We got a drafter stream, and shout out to my very special guest, my guy, Two Fat Guys, aka Anthony. I'm not going to call you Fat Guy because I love and respect you. I'm going to call you Anthony. Shout out to my guy. He's a brilliant writer, brilliant drafter. I definitely have learned a lot from you, Anthony, and I'm very excited to have you here on our show. Thank you for stopping by and doing a guest appearance.
Hey,
how's your day going, man?
I'm excited, man. Been a good day. A little rainy here, but other than that, man, it's been great.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to have you. We've been talking about this forever, and you finally posted an article today, and I'm a big fan of your work, big fan of the article. If you guys are interested in reading the article, it's actually in the description. Just click the link in there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your passion for writing, because clearly it shows. You exude passion in your words and in your writing. I do love your articles, but two, what inspired that, and briefly explain what this article is all about.
So I've been involved in fantasy for close to 30 years now. Been doing it for a long time, and over time, just kind of continued to feel like I got better and better at it, and wanted to be a part of the industry. Just didn't know how to do it. So kind of last year about this time, I started learning about the Fantasy Football Expo and made my way there. Made the pilgrimage, got hooked up with JC and Iggy and the guys at the sports affiliation, and we started talking about what they were building, and the opportunity came to do some writing for them. So last year during the season, I started doing a couple of articles a week, different wrap-up articles on how things were going. And this current article that just came out today is part one of what is going to be a 4-part series. It's titled simply "How to Win Your Fantasy Football League," and it's kind of a primer. Each part is going to build off of what was discussed before. And this first article is kind of a basics and a primer on how to build your toolbox. It's got a lot of information that's going to be good for novices, people that are new to fantasy leagues, as well as people who've been doing it for a long time. There's still some little tidbits in there for those of us that have been doing it for a long time as well.
It's super awesome. I had an opportunity to read it briefly, and it was a good read. I'm definitely going to go back, because it's always good to reset your cues. Remember, we call it your P's and Q's. So remember what you're doing and how you like to do it. And I think I enjoy drafting with this community. And shout out to Sleazeball and the Sleazeball raid. I see all you Sleazeballs up in here. Love having you guys. Thank you guys for stopping by. Even though it's early, Sleazeball, great stream. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Sleazeball if you're not. Love his content. Shout out to Bayou Bengal, and obviously the sports affiliation, which Anthony is a part of. Make sure you guys are subbed there as well. I was telling you earlier, and I wasn't just telling you this because you are my guest, but I was telling you this there's a lot of people who I draft within this community that inspire certain tactics, right? And I've this is my second year on Drafters, and after drafting with you a couple times and reviewing your teams after every single draft, I was realized that you did something that not a lot of people did. And I was like, I need to apply this tactic, and that's just letting the values come to you, right? And it's such an important, incredible aspect that makes you such a sharp drafter. You always let the values come to you. So I'm like, how can I, one, let the values come to me, but also be unique when these values do show up? So yeah, I try to take away a little bit from everybody, and it's definitely inspired some really, really great drafts, especially getting unique at the back end of the draft. I know a lot of people hate drafting at the back end of the draft. You kind of made me like it, especially with letting the values fall to you and also getting unique with your roster construction. So shout out to you.
what I love is drafting with different people. When you do it consistently, um, nothing's perfect. There's always something to learn. Even those of us who have been doing this for a long time, there's always new and unique kind of strategies that come up.
Oh,
Um,
you're up, by the way.
oh yeah, I see. I'm just trying to decide between two guys. Um, I
Oh,
don't
you
have
let it
much.
go down to the wire.
Yeah, I don't have much Stephon Diggs. Let's get some exposure there.
All right.
Um, but when you do, like I say, you can learn the way you approach your drafts, and when you look at it and how it ends up coming together. The way Quasi is another one that I've picked up a lot from, because I'm fairly new to the best ball game. Like I said, I've been drafting fantasy teams since the early '90s, but best ball is new, and it requires a different way of thinking. You can't approach a best ball team the same way you approach a redraft team. But when you learn, when I learned kind of the mistakes I was making in best ball, it helped sharpen my drafts on both sides. Had some better best ball drafts, better DFS lineups, and my redraft teams were fairly dominant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you. So there's not a lot of people I try to take advice from. Like, yes, I'll try to take bits and pieces from people here and there. But shout out to James SEO. I know he's still on vacation, but you've been very crucial in helping me with a new format. And obviously, this format changes every single time. You've been my guru. You've been my advisor and somebody who like I literally every pick I consult with you in the Scott Fish Bowl and. I like what we're doing with our lineup so far, and I was a big fan of what I was doing with my lineup in the Scott Fish Bowl until I saw yours. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up your lineup, and then we'll compare it to mine. But
Sure.
yeah, you're so sharp because like you're in the Warrior Bowl right now. You're in the FF7s. These are like IDP leagues. You're in the Scott Fish, which is very unique scoring as is as well. And then you're doing this and you're sharp everywhere you draft.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend, guys, if you guys have a chance to look at the description at the bottom of your screen there and open that article and read it. It's a great read. And you guys could tell that this guy knows his stuff. So here's Anthony's lineup. He has Tyreek Hill in the first round. Second round, he goes Joe Burrow, Derrick Henry, Kyle Pitts, George Kittle, DK Metcalf. Remember, guys, this is tight end premium, right? Ramondre Stevenson, Jaden Reed, Will Levi. It's also super flex. Khalil Shakir, Taysom Hill, Josh Downs, and Gardner Minshew, which is pretty insane. I find it very weird that they have Taysom Hill listed as a quarterback here.
Yeah.
But that's your lineup, and I think it's a very sharp draft. It's something that I would draft personally if it wasn't, like there's a lot of names, like the values, like DK Metcalf in round 6 is insane, right? Jaden Reed round 8, insane, absolutely nuts. So you got some really good values, really good players to pair up with, your incredible start of Tyreek Hill, Burrow, and Derrick Henry. You definitely need to smash the running back position, but this is why you know your stuff because you know where the values are gonna fall. I've done 0 mock drafts. This is my lineup. I go Joe Burrow in the first round at the 109. Jamar Chase, Deebo Samuel, Jalen Waddle, Caleb Williams, Zamir White, Ramondre Stevenson, Keenan Allen, Jalen Warren, Hunter Henry. I also have what's his face? Oh, you guys can't see my 11th pick. My 11th pick was Cole Kmet, Gardner Minshew, and Keon Coleman. So my draft is also going relatively decent. I don't hate it. What got you into the Scott Fish Bowl?
Um, I've known about the Scott Fish Bowl for a very long time, but it was just kind of I always thought it was for the experts because I would hear about it on the Sirius XM channel. The hosts would talk about it. I never thought of it being open to anybody, and anybody and everybody, until I learned really a lot more about it last year. Last year was my first year actually getting in. It was my second year of applying to get in, and I got in, and it was one of the best experiences of my drafting career. It's so much fun. The camaraderie amongst all the players. It's for such a great cause. Scott Fish is one of those guys that he's one of the most genuine, nice, really good guys that you'll ever meet. And his goal, he started this, and I don't think he ever envisioned what it would turn into. It's so big, and like I said, I've made some great friendships through it. Um, but yeah, ultimately, it was the thrill of competition that got me into it. I wanted to know, could I compete with the guys that I was listening to, uh, the guys that I respected, and listened, and took for my advice. And turns out, yeah, I did pretty well. And this year, like I said, it's rules have changed significantly. There's a lot of new nuance to look at it, and I'm really liking the way my team has come together. Um, yeah, missed on a couple that I wanted. That's going to happen when you're drafting with so many people that are in the industry. You know,
Definitely.
you're gonna miss on some.
De-
But
de- de- Definitely. So what kind of running back value do you currently have left on? Like I hate slow draft, but like the only way I would do a slow draft is if it's for a great cause, and this is as good of a cause as it could possibly get, right? What kind of
yeah,
running back value do you currently have still?
not much. My league, my particular division, really leaned into the volume running backs, and those running backs went early and often because that was my original strategy. I was going to kind of let tight end go, kind of push it out until it was later because you know even though it's kind of ultra tight end premium, I felt like it was tight end was a trap. Um, and unless you could get a good volume tight end, you were going to get stung. And so I was going to load up on the volume running backs. But it seems like in my division, everybody kind of had that same thought. So I got Kyle Pitts at almost around a value. I got George Kittle at almost around and a half of value. But what's left is that there's really not much. So I'm glad I got the running backs that I did and got them when I did,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't have liked, the end. Like I said, I'll take some shots on some rookies and some new situations, and guys that might have a role in the return game, but that's where I'm going from here.
Well, I like it's I think one of the funnest things about this because like obviously we know people in the industry in the content creation world and just like people in general whose drafts are completely different. Like I saw Sleazeball's draft. I'm like, okay, so people are going to reach for kick returners early because like the kick returner premium is absolutely insane, right? And
Mhm.
that was not the case with mine. Actually, it was the tight ends and quarterbacks who went really, really early. So it's good that I reached on Joe Burrow. It allowed me to get Jamar Chase no matter what in the second round. So that's also pretty sweet. Sorry, I'm guys. I'm going to catch up with the chat briefly, but I noticed this comment right here. Welcome, Andrew N says, welcome to the Scott Fish Bowl party. Two fat guys. I'm in for the sixth time and drafted live in Vegas this year. So yeah, man, it's definitely a move. I never like I've heard of it in passing. I never really focused on it or anything, but it was you, Greg Kellogg, James SEO for sure, and JC Money Design who just like pummeled it in my brain that like it's a great cause. Two, it's just one of the most competitive yet incredible fantasy football tournaments out there. And hopefully, like I've already applied for Scott Fishbowl 15. I've already got my application for that.
Same
Um,
here.
and it's definitely something that I would love to compete in forever. We got a James SEO, Bengals raid, Sleaze raid, Disco raid. Shout out to James SEO. Hey everyone, just got home. Bengals first day back from surgery at work. How'd it go, buddy? How'd it go? But before we tell you guys, before we do anything more, I need to take a quick promo break. Is that okay, buddy?
Perfect.
All right, guys. So this is not a mock draft. This is a real money draft with real money implications. If this is your first time tuning in, I repeat, not a mock draft. Way better. This is a real money draft. This is the Drafters Million 3. It's an NFL best ball championship where there's $2.5 million in prizes. There's $500,000 that goes to first. It's total points format. Most points win. It's best ball weekly score from weeks 1 to 17. 12 teams draft. There's a fast and slow. As I mentioned earlier, I hate slow drafts, but I mean, if that's your cup of tea, do it. It's a $15 entry, 150 max. We do giveaways for this all the time. We'll probably do our next giveaway when we get to our 1,000th subscriber. Congratulations to Bayou Bengal. It was it was a pop-up stream, and I made sure to watch his pop-up stream because I knew he was close. And it was super wholesome the moment he realized that he got his goal. It was super wholesome, super awesome, and it was just nice to be there to celebrate somebody who I respect so much in the industry. Back to what we're talking about. There's also the Drafters Million Two. It's $25,000 in total prizes, $25,000 at first, $125,000 in total prizes. It's a $2 entry, which is huge. It's best ball format, which is the most convenient way for you to draft. You have 20 rounds to fill your roster for depth. Each week, the starting lineup is composed of the following positions: 1 quarterback, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1 flex. At the end of the week, the best overall performances on your roster will be submitted into your weekly matchup. So no more leaving points on the bench, no more waiver wires, no more trades, none of that garbage. What do we do with that garbage, Anthony?
We get that garbage out of here.
Get that garbage out of here! That got me so hyped. I'm so glad. I think the only person who's failed that so far is Sleazeball. Shout out to Sleazeball and the Sleazeball rate. So if you sign up today on Drafters Fantasy Sports, we will double your initial deposit up to $100 if you use promo code DISCO. Once again, sign up on Drafters Fantasy, use promo code DISCO. It's a great time every time. Your drafts are going to go so much better in your redraft league and pretty much everywhere because you have real shots on net. Why would you recommend people to do best ball and sign up using promo code DISCO on Drafters Fantasy?
Well, I mean, it's obvious that you'd sign up using the code DISCO, so you double your money. When you can get 2 times the entries for what you're investing, it's like free money. You gotta love free money. But the other reason is, like I said, best ball has really improved my overall draft strategy and helped me hone in on a couple things. I really started doing best ball last year. Made some mistakes and kind of learned from those mistakes as the season progressed. I was like, oh, no, that's where I missed there. But doing it has, even making the mistakes that I did, I was in 4 different home leagues and I failed to win none of them. So it just changed my draft strategy to the point where you learn the values. It really kind of started to create this idea of what I'm calling value-based drafting. It's a draft strategy that I started to use without really knowing it and without really putting a name to it. And really kind of came into its own last year, and that's something I'm getting into in the article series that's coming out. Is the idea of what is value-based drafting and how is it developed?
Yeah, and once again, guys, if you guys are just tuning in, because I saw a couple people trickle in, 1, welcome. 2, if you guys want access to his first article of 4 series, right? It's first
Yep,
of 4.
it's slated to be 4.
The link is in the description down below. Give it a read. It's a really good read, very insightful, and it really is awesome stuff. And Anthony's one of those guys who once again, he's my guru for the Scott Fish Bowl because, one, it was supposed to be him and James, but James decided to go on vacation to paradise. So selfish. It's so selfish. But yeah, you've picked up where he left off, and you've coached me up, and I'm very grateful for your coaching and your tutelage, and I feel like my draft is going really well, and it's still going, and I'm still going to pick your brain, and whenever James gets back, I think it's soon, I'll be picking his brain as well, and we'll keep on rocking out. There's one thing that I love about our community, right? One, we'll shout out our community because without them, we wouldn't be able to fill our queues up as fast as possible. So we got to shout out everybody in here. We got Snowman 089. We're up. We got Snowman 089 at the 101. We just took our first share of dogs and I hate it. We got Who Hames at the 103. Shout out to Who Hames. He's from the Bayou Bengal community. It's always nice to see him pop by and say hi here. Sleazeball with the raid. Great sub. Great guy. Love Sleazeball. Very, very knowledgeable. Knows his stuff. Just Joshin at the, what is that? The 106. You at the 107. Quasi, a.k.a. the 2-time, at the 110. My guy AP at the 111, and yours truly at the 112. Shout out to Disco Ball Nation. I appreciate you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing showing up on a Monday. Even when we're early, you guys are still in here chopping up. I love it. I love having you guys here. But one of my favorite things about our community is our Discord, right? Our Discord is like really good at getting people to queue up. It's really active, but there's a Discord that goes unnoticed a lot of times, and it's a really, really great quality Discord. Why don't you tell the folks about the great quality Discord that they should join and what they can expect in that Discord?
Yeah. Something new for the sports affiliation is our new Discord server. It's fired up, being managed by a couple of great guys. But um, what I'm using it for and planning on using it for, I'm trying to drive all the traffic that for start sit advice, for waiver wires, for roster constructions as we get into draft season. Um, Last year it got so hectic for me on Sundays. I would have a queue of 20 to 25 different DMs asking for start sit advice. Trying to drive everybody over to that TSA sports affiliation Discord. Get your questions asked there. You've got both myself, Will, JC, Iggy, all of us are over there. You can get some great advice, multiple opinions, and really get some great input. It's got a ton of daily bets that are posted. SoCal, Iggy, it's a great foundational piece for us, and we're really trying to get some more traffic over there so it can build upon itself and help build the community even further.
Yeah, I I love everything you just said about that community, and I vouch for everything you said in that community. I really do enjoy it, and it's great because there's so many spectacular contributors coming into one pot and providing such a amazing knowledge and insight. And it's once again, the sports affiliation community is the kindest, most loving community out there. Period. They're absolutely spectacular, and I try to emulate what they do, and I'm very grateful to be part of the sports affiliation community. So speaking of that, Bear Fan P, hey everyone, good evening. Happy to see my guy Disco. What's up, TSCA family? Anthony, nice to see you. Speaking of the sports affiliation, they'll be going live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight, doing more drafters fantasy football stuff. If you guys want to get into some $2 minis, I believe that's what they're doing. Feel free to head over there after this show. Hit them with a disco raid. Would be super awesome. And then there's this guy, right? There's Bayou Bengal Fantasy Network. Once again, guys, we should all right now, please. We got 18 people in here. Let's all congratulate Bayou Bengal. Put W Bengal in the chat because he just hit 1,000 subscribers, and I know the amount of work he put in to get that. It really is absolutely incredible. Benjamin says, "Is this a commercial or a draft?" It's just showing love, man. It's just showing love. It's just showing love, brother. Yeah, man. Congratulate Bayou Bengal. That's monumental. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but we are close. We are working on it. I'm envious, but it couldn't have happened to a better person. Shout out to Mr. Man Meat.
Oh man, look, I got some man meat for this guy. This dude is gonna.
I got some man meat for that guy. I'll tell you. Shout out to Bayou Bengal. Love that human. And once again, guys, it really couldn't have happened to a better guy. Seriously.
I was on the road this morning heading to the office for a meeting, and heard his name on the radio.
Really?
Yeah, one of the Sirius XM hosts. Apparently, Bengal had chimed in on his Twitter feed and gave him a quick little shout out on the radio.
Nice.
I was like,
man.
hey, I know that guy.
Nice, man. What was the context? I need context.
I'm not sure. He didn't say, or Ratcliffe didn't say what the post was. Just that Bayou Bengal had chimed in. So,
all right. Fair enough. W Man Meat. We have some amazing communities. 100%. W Bengal. Congrats on 1K. 100%. 1,000. It's huge. Yes. Congratulations. by Bengal Fantasy Network. Geez, man, yes, sir. Huham's been there since W Bengal. Yes, more Huham's. Okay, what's up, Bengal? Thanks, everyone. Wendy, how you doing? Wendy, we love you. Wendy's another spectacular part of the sports affiliation on Wednesdays. She's part of the Game Changers segment that she has. I'm looking forward to that coming back.
Coming back July 17th.
There you go. And she's part of the Women's of Fantasy Football. Give them both a sub. And shout out to Wendy. Thank you for popping by. And yes, more W Bangy. Bengal. I said Bangy. W Bengal. Let's go. Let's go. I feel like I'm a walking meme. You are. What'd you say? You were talking about chicken wings yesterday on your stream, Bengal, and you said lemon pecker instead of lemon pepper wings. I should have clipped it, but I was at the grocery store. Wendy made it. Yes, shout out to Wendy, one of the best people on the planet, honestly. Yeah, we started our battle of sexes. I made my first pick. I was at the 106. My wife is at the 107. Guess who I took at the 106? It's super flex, half PPR.
Was it Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase, no matter what. Jamar Chase, no matter what, of course. And my wife started her draft with CJ Stroud because that was best quarterback available. It's insane how fast quarterbacks go. So I don't know what it's a slow draft. So thankfully I don't have to pay too much attention to that. But yeah, I don't know what I'm here too.
Yeah,
What's up? We got the what's up. I gotta play it. If anybody says what's up, I have to.
What's up? What's up?
I have to do it.
Yeah. Battle of the Sexes is one of the charity leagues that I'm not in because my wife is not a fan of the sports ball.
My wife has. I had to. So for Battle of the Sexes, I had to customize our big draft energy. Like I had to add an extra layer because like I'm not a super flex guy, so I had to dive into super flex and kind of like create a super flex draft guide. We do a big draft energy draft guide every year. For redraft, full PPR, half PPR, standard. We do it for obviously best ball. Best ball is probably our best work and probably our work that we update the most. But I had to create one for Superflex. And my wife she's a very sharp drafter and it's very easy to use. She loves that stuff. I'm here too. Yeah, we see you, Wendy. We shouted you out. I'm worldwide. I guess Mr. Worldwide. Bio is famous. Yes, sir. By Fantasy Network, not guilty of most uses the phrase man-made. How weird is it that there's an entire fantasy football community that refers to a human being as Mr. Man-Meat, and he doesn't know about it. He really doesn't know about it yet.
Yeah.
We need to get the word out there. Sleaze, your division chat is fun. I have not participated in any chats in our division. I would love to know who. Yep. He would like to know
It was
who is
Jeff
shouting me out.
Ratcliffe.
Jeff Ratcliffe.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you very much. My dog is at the door. Okay, this chat, everybody's just loving on each other. Anyone drafting later tonight? Yes, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, the sports affiliation will be live. Broadster says, are we doing a second draft after this? Only if my guest is up for it, because I'm definitely up for it.
Yeah, I could do it. I could do a second one.
Let's get weird. Let's get awesome. Let's get Kirk Cousins to pair with Drake London. I like how this draft is going. And then let's get another rookie run. I think I need to attack the.
Don't do it.
Well, I'm kind of looking for. Oh, somebody took Demario Douglas already. Crazy. All right, Wandell. Yeah, somebody who took. Which one of you took Pop Douglas already?
Snowman.
Snowman, you know he's mine.
Yeah, I was hoping to grab Douglas in the Scott Fishbowl League coming back around, but
he's still available. He's still available in mine. Last time I checked, he's still available in mine. James says Mrs. Disco taking down the league. It's already she did great in the $3 mini last year. She really did great in the $3 mini last year. Get me on the clock in Battle of the Sexes. We doing a second draft? Yes. I used to be addicted to drinking brake fluid, but I can stop anytime I want to. Andrew in with the dad joke. I like it. Smash those likes, hit that subscribe button, and share it. Literally costs you nothing. Yeah, yeah, shout out to Bear Fan Pete. I'll be in the drafts later, not live. Okay. I'll jump in. Okay, I will. Who's down to hop in another draft with us? If you guys are all down, we can kind of just grade and then do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. James SEO, hope you're feeling better. Hope your recovery's going well. He says that to Bayou. I would have grabbed him if Snow didn't. Yeah. Snowman screws everything up for everybody else. No, man, we love Snowman. I just wish Snowman would speak. When he drafts, he literally doesn't speak. He just like finishes his draft and then tunes in afterwards to hear what we got to say about his draft. Who says Douglas ran so unfortunate on TDs. That's going to positively. Yeah, I mean, true. My wife says I just follow the draft guides. Sometimes 100%. AP says he's not really a red zone target. He's going to get the Jacoby. How do you? Okay, this is a great talking point. Kind of off script, but I'm going to ask you: how do you feel about Demario Douglas this year, and where do you think he'll be utilized the most? NFL DFS pick says he's in for 2W. Let's go.
So I like Douglas the most of the New England receivers. He's the most familiar with the system. He and Kendrick Bourne. He showed a lot of ability last year. He kind of flashed for us a few times. I really like him in the middle of the field. I like him as a slot guy. He's not super field stretcher, but he has this uncanny ability of getting open. Wes Welker-ish. Julian Edelman-ish. New England has always been able to find that kind of guy, and I think he fits right into that mold. Do I think he's a big red zone target? Probably not. But I think he could still get you some sneaky amount of touchdowns. I also kind of think he's going to be used in the return game for them.
That's why I love him.
Which is where I think he gets a big value boost. Because it's the returners are kind of the unknown this year. We don't know what it's going to really be, so we have to take the chance. Scared money don't make money.
Amen.
So if you think you've got a bead on the return game and you get the right guy and you get him early before everybody else, you've really got a nice value advantage.
I think everything you said is bang on, but I think what people are failing to realize is his yards per separation on every route he runs is unmatched. Like, he was basically running wind sprints and beautiful, crisp routes for no reason last year because Mac Jones is as useless as they come. I think should this offense improve, he's going to be the biggest beneficiary of them improving, and he's an absolute smash ceiling play, especially in this format. In redraft, I'm probably not as bullish on him. It really depends on the redraft format. But I love the value he presents. Like, I don't even see Kate Otten here. I really don't. I look at him and I'm like, I don't like you. I don't like you. So I'm just gonna pass on him.
Kate Otten is just one of those boring tight ends. He's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to catch 3 balls for 39 yards and 6 touchdowns. 3 catches for 39 yards every week, and he'll get you 6 touchdowns. So he'll have usable weeks, but he's not exciting to me either.
Gotcha. Let's catch up with the chat. Bad Guys Official, who really is a good guy, says Snowman just shows up to collect giveaways. It's not even a giveaway, and he's here. There's not even a giveaway tonight, and he's here. So sorry if I start seeing people leave the stream. There's no giveaway tonight, guys. Maybe we'll do another giveaway bonanza when we hit 1,000 subscribers, but no giveaway tonight. Sorry. Apologies. Pop very small to be a red zone threat. I beg to differ. Like, people hate that I keep using Tyreek Hill as a player comp, but the shiftiness, the speed, the ability to separate and have very crispy routes makes
everybody thinks end zone threat is the big guy, the big target. It's really the guys that can get open and the guys that can win contested catches. So if you've got somebody who excels at getting open, like Pop Douglas, I mean, he's going to get open whether it be in the middle of the field. And then you've got your big guys, that get open differently, and your jump ball guys that are used on the corners and on fades. But yeah, like I said, he's a threat, and you'll have to account for him. But yeah.
Definitely. All right. James SEO says, Mrs. Disco, you need to put your draft guide out to the public. My draft guide is available to the public. I'm just not selling it. If you sign up using promo code Disco, you can get a draft guide sent to you complimentary on the house. It's just it's constant work in progress. I'm working on a website, but there's only so much I could do. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty easy to use. If you are interested in the draft guide, James, I'll obviously take care of you. Huhaim says, AP, that's true, but offense, okay. Sharing's caring for sure. Hot Take says, New England Patriots, gross, puke. Shout out to Hot Takes. I mean, that is a terrible take. I like Hot Takes, but I hate what you just said. He's a great follow on X. He definitely lives up to his moniker of Hot Takes. And he also is starting his Twitter Space live Saturday at noon. He's going to have a nice hot take Twitter space, so I'm very excited for that. Mac Jones equals GOAT, ... Sleazeball, you better be trolling, brother, because best thing that ever happened to me as a Patriots fan was when Mac Jones got traded. Hunter Henry, I could trust. Yeah, he's very reliable for sure.
Yeah, I think like if we're trying to compare Hunter Henry to Cade Otton, I actually like Hunter Henry. He's a perfect fit for that offense. He's going to do a lot of good things. Yeah, I like him a lot with a better quarterback play this year.
For sure. This chat says, Andrew N. I'm anticipating this is a dad joke. My ex-wife got angry when I invested all of our money in Bose stock. I told her it was a sound investment. Nice. I come because there's no giveaway. You do a giveaway, no thanks. Bengal, are you up for a draft after this? I know you're over 100 now. That was a good one, Andrew. We have already won the giveaway. We've got Anthony on the show. Wow, man, what am I, chopped liver, JC? Shout out to JC Money Design, part of the sports affiliation. They'll be live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you guys give them a sub, and when we head over to the show, make sure we put hashtag Disco Raid. I come to draft with people who don't. Yes. All right, we're on the clock, man. Every time I see Sanat, I'm like, I need to draft. I gotta not draft him. I like what we're doing with this draft. We definitely need some running back help with our last two picks, but I love what we're doing with this draft. I'm looking forward to grading these drafts and then hopping into another one. Appreciate you, Big Draft. Appreciate you, Hot Take City. ARS Peel says, I agree. Anyone who has the short area burst to get open in a small area can be a red zone threat. Tank Dell is one of those guys. No one could guard even in the phone booth. 100%. The only person that could stop Tank Dell was his own running back. Too soon. I read a stat on Tank Dell recently that like absolutely blew my mind and completely changed my entire perspective on it. Because I'm like, okay, you know what? Two wide receiver sets. Initially, right? Two wide receiver sets. There is no way Tank Dell is going to be on the field in those two wide receiver sets, right? But then we look at the numbers from last year and the efficiency he produced. He was only on the field 60% of the time, and he still produced incredibly, right? Which makes me say, okay, this guy is efficient with his touches.
Mm-hmm.
A Stephon Diggs and a Nico Collins taking away, some premier defensive coverage. It really makes Tank Dell an absolute splash play. So he's one of those guys who I completely changed my tune on. How do you feel about Tank Dell fitting into the Houston offense this year? Do you think he goes up or down?
I actually, projecting his stats from last year over a full season, I actually am keeping him relatively flat from that perspective. With the addition of Stephon Diggs will eat into his role a little bit because they do overlap in some of the routes that they like to run. But I like him quite a bit. Early in the season, I really liked his value. He's kind of crept up a little bit in ADP to a point where I think he's being drafted more at his ceiling. So I'm not as in on him now as I was, about 6 weeks ago. But I think he's a guy that I am absolutely targeting for redraft because I think he will be, especially in a PPR format. I think he might have the most catches on the team.
Really?
Now, I don't know that he'll lead the team in yardage or touchdowns, but I think in just a pure reception perception, I think he might be the reception guy.
Really? That's very interesting because I like him in best ball, but as a splash play, I definitely don't have him leading that team in receptions whatsoever. But it's definitely an interesting take, and I'm definitely going to consider it and do a little bit more research. Um, let's catch up with the chat. My hamstring is getting foam rolled tonight since there's no duck race. Man, a good foam rolling session will change your entire life. JC says, disco, good, good. Yeah, man, I'm not chopped liver. Dom asks, which is Jack Lucene on his burner account, I believe. That's from the worst fantasy football show. He says Tank Dell's itty bitty. No, he's not. He plays huge, man. Sleazeball, okay, Sleazeball, I'm going to call you out on this, right? I'm going to call you out on this because I keep receipts. Sleazeball says Tank Dell has major weapons around him to open up red zone. Pats don't have much of a red zone threat, but Henry. Did you or did you not say that Javon Baker is a spectacular threat all over the field, including the red zone, and he is your favorite late round draft pick and favorite New England Patriots receiver? Did you or did you not say that? I keep receipts. Don't make me pull it up, Sleazeball. Explain yourself, sir. Love Dell. Wish I was able to draft him, says James. Lad McConkey. 1,500 yards plus season. Book it. I don't know about that. Breaking news, Skip Bayless, Undisputed. Thank God. I've never watched a single episode of Undisputed. Have you?
Can't say as I have.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep catching up with this. Diggs, the PPR scam. Yep. Man, first 8 weeks, phenomenal. Last 8 weeks in playoffs, the worst player ever. I hated him last year, Diggs. I think that's why I'm like super salty about Diggs. He just disappeared. Diggs going to lead in receptions and yards. Okay, hot take. Contract here. I mean, sure, Diggs, I won't touch at his insane ADP. I mean, I'll get exposure to him for sure. How do you feel about Diggs?
I like Diggs. I don't really like his price. Like I said, I took him here in tonight's draft because I really just don't have much exposure to him. I have quite a bit of the other Texans receivers. He is my least favorite of the 3 Texans receivers. I think the talent is there, but he's learning a new system. He is, I don't know, he's a diva. He may not fit in. He's going to demand the ball, but I don't know how much CJ is going to acquiesce to that. CJ likes his guys. He likes to spread the ball, and I think he kind of continues to do that.
See, that's part of my problem with those 3 receivers. They are so close in ADP, and they are such high values. Like right now, Nico Collins is being drafted as a wide receiver too, and I was smashing the Nico Collins picks when I was getting him in the 3rd round. But so sometimes, but now he's like going middle of the 2nd round, and I can't rationalize that. And the fact that Stephon Diggs is going above Tank Dell, it's also like I think what makes me like I draft them in waves, right? I need to get exposure to one of those receivers every draft because I think one of them's got to smash, and that passing game is going to be spectacular for best ball, right? But when I look there, it's like, okay, maybe Tank Dell's the best player as a ceiling play, and he comes with the best value. So I'm smashing as much Tank Dell as I possibly can at the back end of the drafts. Sleazeball says Javon Baker, when he becomes the guy, will be. All right.
I'll say this about Javon Baker. He was a guy in the draft that I was very high on. I don't love the landing spot. I think he'll have all the opportunity, but I don't know if the coaching is there for him to develop because he does need some time to develop yet. But I was very high on him in the draft.
For sure. I understand the reference, Sports Addict, but we're not going to talk about it here on stream. The Sports Addict is here. The live is Finesse. Shout out to Sports Addict Network. If you guys like free money and you guys want to make some free money, you guys want to tail some free bets, This guy hits. Doesn't matter if it's women's cricket, women's volleyball, college basketball, both men's and women's. Pretty sure he's got props on SpaceX and over under in terms of times for it getting to space and landing. Like he crushes everything. Dom says, so yeah, follow my guy Sports Addict on X, please, if you like free money. That's of course. Dom says they said all the same things when he landed in Buffalo. He had his best year ever. Yeah, I mean, I have 42% Javon Baker on UD. We don't talk about those folks here. No, I'm kidding. Quasi, what you think? Appreciate the fine individual, great individuals in here. Sports Addict in the house. Brotzer says it's not this draft. I will call the queue after we go through all of our lineups. We got plenty of time. What's up? I'm favoring Pop. Yeah, for sure. Me too. But there are a lot of targets up for grabs. Quasi, I meant draft. Oh, drafted entire.
I really like the value of the New England room. If
even the quarterback situation is good.
Yeah, that value, like all of them are late. You don't have to spend for anybody. Like Pop Douglas is the highest value, and he's going in 13th, 14th round is the earliest you're going to see him go. So you can get you could stack if you really wanted to, starting in like the 13th round and get a New England stack if we think that the New England passing game has some juice. If it's Drake May, you get Pop Douglas, Drake May, Hunter Henry, all 13, 14, 15, and get a late stack.
You can even sprinkle in an Antonio Gibson, who should be the receiving back there, if you want to get a little bit more correlation pieces. So I completely agree. Yep. Andrew in with a dad joke. We got to address it. Then we're going to start grading some lineups. Every time it rains on my trampoline, it's like Mother Nature is doing sprinkling. I like it. I like it a lot. I was AFK for a bit. No problem, buddy. You're back. Let's go. Hit those likes. What's up, Playmakers? Good to see you, brother. Hill is great to pair with an elite tight end. Okay, we're going to break it down right now. All right, Snowman089 goes 2792. I'll call the lineup. You give the grade, all right? He goes Lamar Jackson, Bryce Young. Running back, he goes Kyron Williams, Tony Pollard, Zach Charbonnet, Ray Davis. Ooh. Bucky Irving, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Love that pick. Trey Sermon, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk, Brian, BTJ, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Joshua Palmer, Dontavian Wicks, Demario Douglas, Kendrick Bourne, Noah Brown. Shocker, he drafted at first, and he got the Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson stack, plus Luke Musgrave. Not a bad draft, in my opinion. How do you feel about it?
I like it. I always like the Lamar Mark Andrews stack. I like the top two running backs. Kyron scares me a little. I'm not sure that he stays healthy a whole year, but he's shown that he can be elite when he's elite. I am a big fan of the wide receiver room here. I like CeeDee Lamb. I like Brandon Ayuk. I like BTJ. I like Josh Palmer. I like what you did here. The bottom of the running backs have some question marks. Ray Davis will have a role in that offense. Bucky Irving should have a role in that offense, but we don't know yet. I'm not a huge Charbonnet believer, but I understand it. I think it's a good solid B. I put it as a good solid draft.
It's definitely unique in my opinion. The first two running backs I generally love, especially the value for Tony Pollard. The first three wide receivers I like a lot. Jackson Smith-Njigba I think is a splash. Joshua Palmer is hit or miss, but everybody else is a spectacular splash play, and mixing in a Noah Brown is very unique. And we got a comment here where the Sports Addict Network says, Disco, talk to us about CEH. What's not to love about CEH? When we saw him play last year, he got in and he got involved in the offense, and he got some touches, and he was efficient with his touches. I think the thing I like the most about him, other than being just the clear-cut handcuff now that Jerick McKinnon's gone, he also benefits from being, the third down running back now that Jerick McKinnon's gone. We all know that, what's his face? Pacheco, our thumbnail guy, Isaiah Pacheco runs like a bat out of hell. Like, he runs hard. He runs like he's mad at the ground. He is a violent runner. And because he plays such a volatile style of football, God forbid anything happens to him, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a league winner at his current value. And there's still an avenue for him to get involved as the receiving back, as we saw with Jerick McKinnon in the past. There's a reason why they picked up his contract and re-sign him. There's
Yep.
nobody, there is a clear path and avenue. He's going to get involved, and he's going to get involved early and frequently should he stay healthy. I love the Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, that was going to be my point. Is they brought him back for a reason. They could have easily let him walk and got somebody else, but they brought back Clyde Edwards-Helaire for a reason. This is the same regime that drafted him. Nothing's changed.
Yeah,
he knows the system. He knows his role.
Sorry to interrupt. DFS picks. We're not queued up yet. We'll call the queue if you want to go ahead and just draft on, like, by all means. But we'll call the queue when we're well and ready, brother. All right. We're not queued up yet. By the way, great follow on YouTube, NFL DFS picks. Looking forward to all the content, and also great follow on X. Sorry, please continue. So sorry about interrupting.
No, you're fine. Like I said, he knows what he is, and they know what he is, and the fact that he's kind of been sitting for a couple years now behind McKinnon, he's got that chance now to take that job and run with it, and he has no reason not to give everything. Like he's been in the league, and he's kind of seen what else, kind of what's out there for him. So he has to take this opportunity and jump on it. So I like him this year late too.
Okay, don't get me wrong. Redraft, don't love, right? Best ball, I will get 100% exposure to him if I have to, because the path there and the ceiling there for the current value he's at, it's incredible.
Yeah, in redraft, I don't have Pacheco as one of the guys I'd be looking to handcuff. So no, you're unless I was just throwing a dart in the last round and nobody else was there that I liked. Yeah, I'm not touching him in redraft, but for this, he's a smash for me.
Yeah, Sleazeball says, I love CEH as one of the top handcuffs. He's definitely is a great handcuff for sure. He says, you hit the nail on the head, especially with how Pacheco runs. Exactly. James SEO says, Malachi Corley, is this rookie going to return kicks? I mean, yes, Sleazeball's beat us to the punch. It should be Xavier Gibson, but Malachi Corley is a little bit more dynamic in his.
Yeah, could be either one of those guys. That's one of the return situations that I just don't know about yet, so I'm kind of staying away from it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to Who Hames. He goes 2783. Patrick Mahomes, Daniel Jones, Zach Moss, Jonathan Brooks, Ezekiel Elliott, Kendre Miller, Tyler Algier, Damian Pierce, Dylan Laube. Wide receiver goes Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Malik Neighbors, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy. Nice little double stack to go with Patrick Mahomes there too. Brandon Cooks, Troy Franklin, Devontae Walker. Tight end goes George Kittle, Taysom Hill, Jawan Johnson. How do you feel about it?
Don't love the running backs. Jonathan Brooks will be the lead back there eventually. We just don't know how long that's going to take. Zach Moss is going to be full-blown timeshare with Chase Brown. I like Chase Brown better at cost, but Chase Brown may even be the number one there by the end of the season. Zeke is fine. Kendre Miller, there's things to like about his game, but Kamara's in his way. I like him as a handcuff. You're going to need a lot of things to go wrong for NFL teams for this running back room to pay off. That being said, I absolutely love the wide receiver core and the correlation with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is my pick as QB1 this year. I think he returns to form. I think he has a 5,000-yard season. And if that happens, you've got probably the top two targets, because I think Travis Kelce, this is a year he starts to take a step back. Love George Kittle. Double tapping the New Orleans tight end situation is safe. Again, it's because of the shaky running back room, probably a B- for me. But you could get carried by the wide receiver room easily.
Yeah. So from what I've learned in my experience here, you need to have two running backs splash. Right? You have to have two running backs on a week-to-week basis that can absolutely ball out. And I look at your running back room, and I don't see two guys on a week-to-week basis from week 1 to week 17 that could splash on a 17 gig, like in the format that we currently have for total points format. With that being said, this is just theoretical. I don't think Jonathan Brooks is going to come right out of the gates as like the guy, right? I think it's going to be a ramp up, and he will eventually be the guy this year. Don't get me wrong, but I think coming right out of the gates, it's going to be more of like a timeshare until we see him ramp up
100%.
and acclimate to the NFL. But other than that, everything. I like the double stack at tight end here. I think it's very unique, especially with Jawan Johnson value. Like Taysom Hill is guaranteed to be a flex for you like four times a year. So I like it. I think Daniel Jones' value is great too. Your receivers are elite, absolutely spectacular. I like the double stack at the wide receiver position as well. But your running back position, I feel like you probably should have invested a little bit earlier on the running back position as opposed to getting like a Brandon Cooks. Definitely should have invested a little bit earlier at the running back position. And this is coming from a guy who like doesn't love the running back positions as well.
Right.
Okay. A lot of chatter. Okay. I'm unregistered. Perfect. Thanks, Dan. Jonathan Brooks to me will be league winner down the stretch 100%. I'm talking about like his first 6 to 8 weeks, like maybe after week 6, that's where we'll start seeing the ramp up. But the first 6 weeks, I don't love his floor.
I smashed Jonathan Brooks in Dynasty draft season. I'm going to be having quite a bit of it during redraft season because I do. I'm the same way. I think his value down the stretch is great. I'm not loving his price point in best ball right now, though. I think it's hard to return that value.
All right, let's look at Sleazeball here. He goes 3-6-8-3. He goes Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, Geno Smith. I like the quarterbacks. Zamir White, Raheem Mostert, Trey Benson, Austin Eckler, Tyrone Tracy, Audric Esteem. Wide receiver goes Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen. Quinn Johnson, Odell Beckham Jr., Trey Tucker. Tight end, he goes Kyle Pitts, Noah Fant, Ben Sinnott. Talk to me.
I love this draft. I have a hard time finding a weakness in it. I like going that third tight end just in case Jaden Daniels gets hurt. It gives you that safety net because we know Jaden Daniels is going to run. We also know that Jaden Daniels can't avoid a tackler to save his life. So having that safety net of Geno is a nice. Running backs, solid. Zamir should have an incredible role. Raheem Mostert, as long as he stays healthy, has shown what he can be. Grabbing Austin Eckler and Trey Benson is great. Tyrone Tracy is going to work his way into a role. I like him down the stretch too. The wide receiver room is one of the best I've seen in a draft. To get those top 5 guys is outstanding. Again, you're going to get carried by the wide receivers. Definitely have 3 starters every week, and then Kyle Pitts at good value too. I love what you did. I really do. I don't see a weakness.
I love the correlation everywhere. You got Daniels, Austin Eckler, who should be the receiving back. Let me touch up on this point, right? I look at Jaden Daniels. I'm like, okay, he's going to need to check down. But then I look at his stats from college at LSU. He only targeted the running back position 8% of the time. So I don't think Austin Eckler is going to be as much of a smash as I thought he would be. After doing that research, I may start getting more. Like I have probably way more exposure to Austin Eckler than I do Brian Robinson. So I'm probably going to start sprinkling in some B-Rob Lamar, Brian Robinson in there. But yeah, man, your running backs are solid. So it's Justin, Jaden Daniels, Eckler, Terry McLaurin, and Ben Sinnott. The correlation there is insane. You got Geno paired up with DK Metcalf and Noah Fant. You got Stafford paired up with Cooper Kupp. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
It's outstanding.
And you got my one-on-one player there. And you didn't reach. You didn't really reach.
Yeah, it's outstanding. 4
or 5 picks. This is your best work. This is an A+ for me. This is your best work. Just Joshin, 2-5-10-3 goes Josh Allen, Jared Goff, shocker. Just Josh Allen. Josh Allen, right? Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Gus Bus, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins. Did you see my guy squatting Nick Chubb there? I might be dead wrong about his.
This is best shape of your life season though, so I don't trust any of that yet until I see him actually running and cutting. I'm still out.
It is completely different, 100%. Amon-Ra St. Brown to go with Jared Goff, Nico Collins, Keon Coleman to go with Josh Allen, Curtis Samuel to go with Josh Allen, Khalil Shakir to go with Josh Allen. I've seen you do this before where you invest in like one offense, and I think it limits your floor, but you got good enough pieces around where it's a nice, unique play.
Don't forget he's got Dalton Kincaid to pair with Josh Allen too,
and Dawson Knox with TJ Hawkinson sprinkled in the middle. So and TJ Hawkinson, if he's healthy by week 12, that's a smash. That's a smash
down the stretch. Yeah.
Greg Dortch, Darius Slayton, Chase Claypool, Marquette, even more Buffalo correlation. This is insane, man.
Wow.
This is just Dalton Kincaid, TJ Hawkinson, Dawson. I love it.
We're only missing James Cook.
We're missing Chase Claypool too. I love it. And the double stack with Gus Bus and J.K. Dobbins is also insane.
Yeah.
But if Vidal's the guy, you are chalked.
Yeah. I as heavy of a Buffalo draft as this is, I like it. I mean, you've got Josh Allen. We know Josh Allen is going to be great. We know Jared Goff is going to be great. To have Jared Goff and Amon-Ra is great. I like the running backs. Getting Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins at value is fine. If we think they're going to come back, I probably wouldn't have reached for Nick Chubb because, like I said, I'm still out on him. But I like this draft. I don't want to like this draft because it's so heavily invested in one team. But if that one team hits, this could be great.
100%.
But I like the upside plays too. You know, Darius Slayton, Greg Dortch, guys that are going to have some spike week potential.
Oh shit, he did get Chase Claypool. Holy crap.
Yeah.
He did get Chase Claypool.
Yeah. Basically, if you're a pass catcher for the Buffalo Bills, you are on this roster.
Yeah. I don't see
for
Matt
James
Collins.
Cook.
I don't see Matt Collins.
Like I said, we're only missing James Cook. But getting Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara, that could carry the running back room, even if Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins don't help you out. But
yeah,
if they come back at the end of the year and they're healthy, that's going to give you that late season coverage that you need for the late buys. Like I said, I don't want to like this draft, but I do.
Yeah, I don't want to like it, but I do as well. I'm giving it a B+ because you're safe everywhere. You really are safe everywhere. You didn't just invest early capital in this, so I love it a lot. James SEO says, Chubb, I'm a believer. Dr. Jesse Morse said that he could be back week 1. That's very interesting. Very interesting. A cartoonist died in his here's Andrew N. A cartoonist died in his home. No one is certain how because details are very sketchy. God, I love you.
Oh my.
Sleazeballs off. He's got to go to do dinner with his mama.
Great
Game
of
earlier,
Thrones.
brother. Thanks for stopping by and man, great draft. Really, really good stuff. All right, so we'll look at Quasi AP, your draft, then my draft. I really want to queue up for a second draft, but I also don't want to, push the TSA stream. So I don't know what to do at this point. We'll finish grading and then we'll make a decision after this.
Sure. Sounds good.
Quasi goes 2, 6, 10, 2. He goes Anthony Richardson, Aaron Rodgers. Breece Hall to pair up with Aaron Rodgers, James Cook, Tajay Spears, Ty Chandler, Chuba Hubbard, Donta Foreman. Wide receiver, he goes Debo, Michael Pittman to go with AR, Amari Cooper, Rashid Shaheed, Tyler Lockett, Adonai Mitchell, more correlation with Anthony Richardson, Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Boyd, Van Jefferson, Bo Melton, Jake Ferguson, Tyler Conklin, a little bit more correlation nation there. Going with the JETS, just. We don't grade Quasi.
No,
we just look at what we like.
I like this a lot. Living in Indianapolis, I hear a lot about Richardson. He's added a lot of muscle. He's worked with slide trainers on how to protect himself. The expectation is that he will find a way to be healthy. If he can stay healthy, he's got QB1 upside. Aaron Rodgers, again, age is a concern. Coming back from the Achilles is a concern. But I'm a believer. I think he has top 12 upside. I love the running back room. I love Breece Hall. I love James Cook. I like Tajay Spears. I like Chuba Hubbard. I like Deontay Foreman quite a bit too. And then the wide receivers are strong. Debo and Pittman. I'm a little higher on Amari Cooper than I think you are. I think he's for
Me?
sure yeah,
Oh, I hate Amari Cooper. I call him
yeah,
Amari Cooper.
yeah. Like I said, I'm a
Well,
little
you're
higher on
higher.
him.
You're higher. My bad.
Yeah, I'm a little higher on Cooper. I think he's shown to be relatively QB proof. He's going to get you 80 catches for 1,000 yards, 6 to 10 touchdowns. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He's the guy there. I don't care who they brought in. He's the guy. So I like him. Um, I like this wide receiver room. I like what you did. I like the correlation pieces. I think this is a solid squad.
I love it. And at first glance, I'm like, well, I mean, week 12, you're screwed, but you're not. You got Tajay Spears, who could
Hmm.
smash. You got Ty Chandler, who could absolutely smash, especially with Aaron Jones and his history of, injury. Chuba, he could absolutely smash as well. And Donta Foreman, not so much, but I understand the pick, right? I like your draft. It's great, solid stuff all around. I love your wide receiver room. I think Tyler Lockett, the more I look at it, it's one of the best picks in fantasy football right now at his current ADP. And the fact that you got him at 111 and he's constantly getting faded, I think it's spectacular. It is very interesting that you reached on Shaheed. I'm guessing you were kind of desperate at wide receiver for a wide receiver 4 there. I don't often see you reach, but it's very strong stuff, man. Very, very strong stuff as per usual. Quasi showing up in full effect. All right, AP. What up, AP? How you doing, buddy? Shout out Pats Nation. Shout out AP. Go Pats, go. He goes 2-6-10-2. He goes Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Josh Jacob, DeAndre Swift, Devin Singletary, Kamani Vidal. I like the running back room a lot. Khalil Herbert, Tank Bigsby. Wide receiver goes Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison Jr., Christian Kirk, Rashee Rice, Josh Downs, Mike Williams, Malachi Corley, Zay Jones, Rondell Moore, Elijah Moore. He wants some more. He wants some more. He wants some more. Sam Laporta. He's a Laporta supporter. And David Njoku. A lot of correlation with Deshaun Watson there.
Yeah. I like this draft. This one, I think, is absolutely led by the running back room. I think Josh Jacobs is in for a very big year. His contract seems to suggest that Green Bay wants to run the wheels off of him this year.
Yeah.
I like Devin Singletary quite a bit. I like Khalil Herbert if he gets traded.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's just kind of a rotational piece.
Yeah.
But Devin Singletary,
nice double stack there, right?
yeah,
I like that double stack there. I mean, people call it handcuffing. I think it's a double stack.
Yeah.
Both of these guys should be involved. Sorry, keep going.
I like Devin Singletary to have a nice workload. But like I said, you've got the Bears backfield pretty much locked up, other than Roschon Johnson, who I honestly think is the 2 there. But yeah, the wide receiver room, I'm not as high on as Puka as many. I'm not as high on Marvin Harrison Jr. as many. I don't have many shares of either one of them. I don't like Puka at cost. I would like him if his cost was more similar to Cooper Kupp's. I think they should be right in the same spot. Marvin Harrison, I just don't want to trust this early. I want him to prove it first, but I understand it. I really like Christian Kirk. I like the Rashee Rice pick. I like Josh Downs a fair bit. I'm just not sold on the top of the wide receiver room. I like the bottom, not sold on the top. Of course, Sam Laporta is Sam Laporta. He's my tight end 1 for the year. So getting him where you got him is great. Njoku could be in for a good year too. So nice coverage. Overall, I like the squad. I think it's stronger running back room than wide receiver room for me. B+.
All right. I think it's fair. I generally like everything you did here, right? Because there's so much volatility in every single player here that if it hits, it's an absolute smash, right? These are a lot of players. People have come around and said, okay, well, you know what? When both Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua were playing at the same time, Puka was getting 31% of the targets, Kupp was getting 29, and Kupp wasn't even right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are starting to push Puka. Puka's starting to go like sometimes very, very late first round, early second round. So him, Marvin Harrison, if Marvin Harrison does what Marvin Harrison's supposed to do and Kyler Murray ignores Call of Duty this season, they're going to be an absolute I like this draft a lot. I like this draft way more than I'd like to like it, because these are 2 offenses I personally am not very I don't have a lot of exposure to, both the Cardinals and the Browns. I think the only exposure piece I have a lot of exposure to for the Browns is Jerome Ford, then David Njoku. All right, let's look at your lineup. Then let's look at my lineup. I go 2-6. You go 2-6-8-4. Okay, I'll grade you here.
Perfect.
You go C.J. Stroud and Tua Tagovailoa, two really, really good quarterbacks. Running backs, you go Bijan Robinson, Travis Etienne, both Week 12 buys, both at a good value. Brian Robinson, who I need to start getting more exposure to, and Javonte Williams. Nice little double stack here with Jaleel McLaughlin, and you got Jalen Wright. I think you're very safe Week 12. I think you're very safe Week 12. A lot of upside there. The Tua and Jalen Wright correlation I like. More correlation with Miami with Jalen Waddle in the mix. I like that a lot. Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, Jameson Williams, Luke McCaffrey, DJ Chark, Khalif Raymond, and then you go with a nice 4 tight end build with 4 really good tight ends. And if you're going for really good tight ends, it makes sense to get like a Dalton Schultz and Jelani Woods on the same bye week. And it makes sense to get Davis Allen, who is my favorite tight end personally on the Los Angeles Rams, and Jonnu Smith. More correlation with Jonnu Smith here. I love everything you did here. I love their wide receiver room. Jameson Williams is somebody who I'm not very high on at ADP, but if he smashes, he absolutely smashes. Deontay Johnson should be the alpha there. He 100% should be the alpha there. Luke McCaffrey, I think, has sneaky upside. DJ Chark is a spike week freak. He's good for 321 to 31 fantasy point weeks per season towards the back end. So I like it a lot. Mossy says, Disco, what's up, buddy? And your tight ends, good. This is it's A- for me. Very strong draft. I like your running back core. Let's catch up with the chat. Andrew N says, Kyler ignoring COD. Yeah, right. After Disco ignores vitamin water. Wow, man. You are on a roll today. Welcome back. I love it. Appreciate the feedback. Thanks. By the way, our feedback is not bond. You know what I mean? I like it a lot. I think the upside there is winning material. I love the upside there.
I try not to be critical, but I try to have constructive criticism, kind of giving my thought processes. But like I said, everybody does things differently. We can all learn from each other. So.
Amen, and hallelujah. Mossy says, Disco. What's up, Mossy? All right, let's look at I don't even know who I have on my team. I'll be completely honest. I have no idea who I have on my team. I'm here. Let's do it. I'll say who I have. I went 3-6-8-3. Since when? I'll say who I have. Then you critique me. I go Jordan Love, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, Jonathan Taylor, James Conner, Jalen Warren, Marshawn Lloyd, Miles Sanders, Justice Hill. By the way, can I just say something? By the way, it just came out that Keaton Mitchell is going to be on the pup. Shocker. Who is the RB2 now? There. If you guys keep wanting to say Ali, but Justice Hill's still on the roster as the clear receiving back and RB2 in on this program, you guys are out your mind. Justice Hill is a great 20th round pick, in my opinion. Wide receiver, we go Drake London, Tank Dell, George Pickens, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs. Wan'Dale Robinson, Marvin Mims, Javon Baker. Tight end, we go Evan Ingram, Pat Freiermuth, Isaiah Likely. Good work, Disco. I like this draft.
I do too. I like the Green Bay correlation. I'm a Bears fan. It hurts me to say that. But Jordan Love showed us last year what he can be. Even if he doesn't make a leap, and he just takes a step forward, he's in for another nice season, and having exposure to his receivers is fantastic. Christian Watson, I think, is the spike week guy there. Romeo Dobbs is the safe play for that. I'm a huge Romeo Dobbs fan. I think he is the wide receiver to own for Green Bay and redraft especially. The running backs are fantastic. Jonathan Taylor is my projected running back 1 for the year. James Conner has proven to be extremely productive for 13 games a year the last couple of years. So you've got 13 games of an outstanding running back there. We just don't know what 13 they're going to be. Jalen Warren, Marshawn Lloyd for more correlation. Miles Sanders and Justice Hill late are both great running back picks. Miles Sanders could hit, he could miss it in a 19th, 20th round pick. Who cares? But I agree with you. Justice Hill has always been the running back 2 there. He was last year. When Keaton Nielsen was around, he will be again this year. So I like this a lot. I like the running back room. I like the receivers. You've got upside potential and also very safe floors. George Pickens should be the number 1. Romeo Dobbs should be a number 1. Marvin Mims is a spike week guy. I think he was one of my highest rated wide receivers that came out last year. I expect him to make a big jump this year. I like what you did here. Evan Ingram is one of my favorite tight end targets. I think he is probably undervalued. Um, he should go ahead of where he's going. So even getting him, having to reach for him a little bit, isn't a reach. I mean, that's where he should be going. So no, I like what you did here. Likely is phenomenal, and they're expecting to get him more involved. They've talked about running a lot more 12 personnel this year, getting him and Andrews on the field together, which is going to cause headaches for defenses with Likely, Andrews, Lamar, and Derrick Henry all on the field at the same time. I don't care who you throw out there at wide receiver, they're not getting the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good work. I like it.
Thank you. Give me a grade.
It's an A for me.
God bless you. God bless you.
Yeah.
All right. AP, very good question, right? He says, question for Disco, why did you take Ingram over Pitts? Just because I like the idea of correlation doesn't mean I'm going to take players I don't necessarily believe in where they're drafting. I will start taking more Pitts once he starts falling where he should fall in my personal ADP and rankings. Currently, I have Evan Ingram higher than him. I also have Evan Ingram higher than Dalton Kincaid, 2 guys who are going over Evan Ingram. And I will continue to get as much exposure to Evan Ingram as long as people keep sleeping on Evan Ingram. So that's why. Obviously, I have the Kirk Cousins and Drake London. It would make sense, to get correlation, but I'm not prioritizing correlation there. It wasn't my priority. It was best available in terms of my tier guide and my tier rankings, and he was best available in my opinion.
So, Evan Ingram is one of those guys that, like I said, he's undervalued. He's in the top 5 tight end conversation for me. I actually have him ahead of Travis Kelce this year. I don't know how many people will agree with me on that. But yeah, Evan Ingram is in for another big year. He's another year in that offense, another year with Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, they brought in Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. They lost Calvin Ridley. He only had 5 end zone targets last year, did Evan Ingram. He's going to have more than that this year.
Exactly.
13 were vacated by Calvin Ridley when he left.
Yeah.
Like most of those are going to go to Ingram. He's a top 5 tight end for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, like he is a zone killer. He's a PPR monster. He gets a lot of volume sent his way, which is absolutely why I keep smashing him.
He's a great blocker, so he never has to come off the field.
Exactly. All he was missing was the red zone targets, like you alluded to. So should he get a little bit more red zone? He's a tight end 1. He is a tight end 1.
Absolutely.
And he's being drafted as what? Tight end 7, sometimes 8. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, what has Kyle Pitts done for me ever?
Rookie year, he had a 1,000-yard season.
Okay, but is that worth where he's currently going in these drafts? And it's crazy because he's only going higher in these drafts. People are really expecting Kirk Cousins to emulate that magic he had with TJ Hawkinson. And like, should he, shame on me for kind of like.
So this is how I'm looking at Kyle Pitts. There's a little bit of that Kirk Cousins and TJ Hawkinson magic that I do kind of expect. But when you look at the Falcons roster, the number 2 receiver on that team is Kyle Pitts. He will be utilized as the second option. Darnell Mooney is he's a traditional Z. He's your go route guy. He's going to get open down the field. Rondale Moore is a nice chess piece. I really do like Rondale Moore a lot. But when you look at true kind of alphas, you've got 2. You've got Drake London. You've got Kyle Pitts. Those are your 2 guys. Those are your target earners on that team. Bijan, at the running back position, Bijan's going to feast. but those three are the top three targets. And however it breaks down, I want exposure to all three of those guys as much as I can get. Kyle Pitts is another guy. I have Evan Ingram and Kyle Pitts rated right next to each other. My projection have them scoring about 6 points different over the course of the whole season. So you're expecting 0.3 points a game difference between the two, according to what I've got. So I don't think you could go wrong either way. But I understand the logic. Like I said, Evan Ingram, if he gets all of those, the red zone targets that Calvin Ridley had last year,
Even half.
if he gets all of them, he's going to be the tight end one.
Yep.
If he gets half of them, he's top 5 for sure.
Yep.
So yeah, it's I don't have a problem taking either one of those guys. So
yeah, good, great assessment. Honestly, you've been absolutely spectacular here on the show. It's you're definitely welcome to come back anytime. Let's catch up with the chat. NFL DFS pick says I had Hill in my queue. Disco, good. You're a smart man. You're a very, very smart man. 100%. James SEO says Dobbs, baby. He should finish as their wide receiver 1 if Watson can't stay healthy. I mean, like it literally could be any one of them, right? And that's my first share of Romeo Dobbs in 72 best ball drafts.
That's not enough. That's not enough.
I think I'm going to start ramping up because I told myself I'm going to start getting exposure to all of those wide receivers. I got a lot of Wicks. I got a lot of Reed. It's Christian Watson and Dobbs season. Hopefully I can sprinkle in a couple of the other guys in as well. Chef, what's up, Chef? He says, sup, everyone. He always comes in at the end, man. He's always cooking up a storm and missing us. Evening Chef says, James SEO, agree on everything. Ingram, my man. Makes sense. Get your guys. Totally. And like, once again, I could be really wrong. I'm not fading Kyle Pitts. I just don't like him at his current ADP, and I'm hoping, he starts falling. And when he starts falling, I'll get exposure to. But I'll also be contrarian and eventually get exposure to him. I really like Ingram a little bit more. And Kirk Cousins always gets sniped for me, so getting a little bit like I'd much rather stack Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram than I would stack Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
with
when you don't have the QB
with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, when you don't have the QB in line already, it's hard to project that. So I don't like I said, you didn't know if Kirk was going to fall to you. So getting Ingram when you got him is great.
Well, here's my belief, right? I don't think it's safe to say, okay, I'm making my bet on Drake London to be the like in draft 72 universe, like in this realm, in this world. I don't think it's safe for me to say that both Drake London and Kyle Pitts can be the top performer at their position with the investment that I have to pair with Kirk Cousins, who I am betting on being one of the top performers there as well. I don't believe in that offense that much. So my bet is going to be either Drake London or Kyle Pitts, not both, because it's a heavy investment at the top of the draft personally.
Yeah, if the price was lower on one, my thoughts on that offense has been this, and I've said this a couple times in a few different places recently. If you're questioning that, when was the last time that Kirk Cousins didn't support multiple top receiving options?
Sorry, did you see Chef's comment here?
Missed it.
You read it.
That's fantastic.
My wife says it's about how I finish, not how I start, mostly because I nap after start.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good shit. Sorry.
But yeah, Kirk Cousins always supports multiple top receiving options. Who those top receiving options are varies, but you're always you're going to get to Jefferson and Thielen, Jefferson and Addison. Jefferson and Hawkinson, he's going to have 2,000-yard receivers. We just don't know who those two are. My bet is that it's Pitts and London. That's the bet I'm making. It could turn out to be Mooney and London. I could be wrong. It could be turned out to be Rondale. I just don't know. I want that offense. I want multiple pieces of that offense. If I get Kirk, I'm going to probably circle back and try to get Rondale late because that's an easier stack to make.
Yeah.
But my biggest question is, how healthy is Kirk right now? So been kind of pushed him down a little bit until I see evidence of him actually planting and throwing.
Yeah.
But I'm betting on him. I'm not betting against him. Like I said, same injury as Rodgers.
But much
I'd
later.
but yes, much later in the season. I'd rather bet on Rodgers than Cousins.
Gotcha. And okay, one more thing, right? If we're talking about competing against 180,000 other lineups, right? How many of these lineups with their roster construction have Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Kirk Cousins?
Oh yeah,
People
Yeah.
try if you get Drake
that's
London,
yep. That's who you're going to try to target.
that's who you're going to try to target, right? So how do you stand out amongst
Absolutely.
the vast majority of the field? You just mix it up with a couple pieces here and there. So it's not like I hate Kyle Pitts. I just prefer one Evan Ingram because I think Evan Ingram is going to outscore him, and I like Evan Ingram's price point more than I like Kyle Pitts' price point. Two,
Yeah.
I'm betting on the fact that it's got to be one of them on a week-to-week basis, and I much rather invest in the guy that I drafted in the first round. Three, it's unique roster construction. Snowman089 says London is unproven as well, if not more so. Can make the argument he's overvalued as well. One, you make a excellent point, but it's just the world that I'm drafting in, right? It's just that particular world, that particular thought process. Hot Take City says I'd rather have TJ Hawk healthy here than Pitts. But that's the thing. That's wishful thinking. I don't think he's going to be healthy. I think he's going to be a pup play. I just really need to figure out before it's too late who the tight end is going to be while Hawkinson's. I think I might start investing in Munt. I think Johnny Munt might be the play.
Might be the guy.
Huh?
Yeah, so that might be the guy. That's where my research has kind of shown too, is that he's the most likely candidate right now.
Yeah.
I see something in training camp.
I mean, N'Keal Harry, sure, like why not, right? But like, I'm also not drafting N'Keal Harry ever as a Patriots fan. Willie says, "What's good? What's good, Willie? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man." James Esio says Drake London should see at least 130 to 140 targets.
Absolutely.
Cousins does favor his what? Like realistically, would you rather draft Justin Jefferson or T.J. Hawkinson in Kirk Cousins, prime with those guys over there at
absolutely
in Minnesota, right? So I'm betting on like even if Kirk Cousins doesn't start off the season, I still really like Michael Penix Jr. to ball out there.
Incredible talent.
I think he's got tremendous upside, and I might start getting like if I miss on a Kirk Cousins, I might start getting a Michael Penix Jr. just to be unique. Another player who I might start getting late is Cordero Patterson. Another player I might start getting late is Trey Lance because like. That offensive line is disheveled. It's destroyed. It's garbanzo. And I think, if any quarterback is probably going to miss time due to, being absolutely bruised against
that's a bold statement.
Against a very, very, very insane. That, like, you look at the front seven for all of those, the pass rush, for all of those teams in that division, Dak Prescott's in trouble. Because that O-line, he's missing like 3-4 pieces now.
Yeah, I'm a little higher on that offensive line than you are. I like the pieces they brought in as replacements for what they lost. It's a middle third O-line. It's not a top 12 O-line like it has been, but
I have them ranked as a bottom 5 O-line this year.
Wow.
Obviously, having Zach Martin helps, but Zach Martin is not
only
playing
one piece.
Tackle. He's not playing tackle, and the timing requires your tackles to win those one-on-ones, and they just don't have that anymore. I mean, I might get a lineup where if I get CeeDee Lamb or Jake Ferguson, I might get Trey Lance in round 20 because who knows, right?
We saw what over 70 starting quarterbacks in this league last year.
Exactly. Bang on. Andrew N says my ex-wife calls me Mr. Irrelevant. The Falcons also have a pretty easy schedule this season. Absolutely. How are they down the stretch? James SEO, I know you are always. By the way, guys, please follow my guy, James_SEO on X. But yeah, Anthony, what an absolute privilege having you on our show and gracing us with your presence. If you guys are interested in the article, please, the description below, his first of 4 articles is there. He's a great writer for the sports affiliation. Please let the folks know, one, where they can find you on all socials, and then like what you have planned for us in the future.
Yeah, so on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Two Fat Guys FF. That's me. Always reach out there. As the season gets rolling, I become a lot more active. I do all of my writing for the sports affiliation. It's thesportsaffiliation.com. All the articles are there. Once the season gets rolling, there are at least 2 a week that come out during the preseason. We'll have, like I said, this series on how to win your fantasy football league. We'll get into some pre-draft and draft guide kind of stuff, targets, fades, things like that. Of course, the sports affiliation Discord, questions there are highly encouraged. But yeah, that's where I'm at. That's what I do, and
Did you mention did you mention your Twitter page?
Yeah, Twitter. Like I said, it's at Two Fat Guys FF. But yeah, I'm like I said, as the season gets rolling, I get more and more active. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a great season, and can't wait. I can't wait. Training camp's officially started today. Ravens rookies reported.
Amazing. That means Hard Knocks, the real Hard Knocks, not the garbage New York Giants.
With the Bears coming for Hard Knocks.
Yeah, speaking of the garbage New York Giants, shout out to Hot Take City. Falcons have an easy. That segue was excellent. Falcons have an easy last 6 to 7 games against weak teams.
Yeah.
Atlanta in December. They have the Chargers, Minnesota, Vegas, Giants, Commanders, Carolina. I mean,
winnable games.
I think Commanders and Giants might be a little bit tougher than people are anticipating. Carolina might be a good one because their defense is gone.
Still suspect, yeah.
Yeah, Chargers I think are going to play better defense this year. I really do think the Chargers might play. Minnesota, I think they have not done anything significant there. Giants are the
very
only
winnable games.
Yeah, those 100%. That's it. We're constantly learning, constantly, taking information and processing it with a spectacular community. So we're going to play the outro, and then we're going to head over to the sports affiliation. Before we head to the sports affiliation, y'all, put hashtag Disco Raid like this because they're doing Drafters After Dark. Spam hashtag Disco Raid like this. We'll play the outro. We'll come back and say bye. See you guys later. And we'll see you guys over in the sports affiliation chat. And shout out to Bayou Bengal. Please sub to my guy. He just hit 1,000 subs. He deserves 100,000 more because he's that brilliant, right? He's absolutely brilliant. Sub to my guy Sleazeball. He is a very sharp drafter. He saves his best drafts for my streams. I'm realizing that he's a very sharp drafter. His work on Twitter X is phenomenal. And please, for the love of God, sub to the sports affiliation because they're just such positive, wonderful people. Here's the outro, folks, and then we'll see you guys over on the TSA Drafters After Dark stream. All right. All right. Before I say bye and head over to the sports affiliation, once again, Anthony, I'd like to thank you for such a spectacular, incredible, insightful show. I'm glad that you reached out today because I've been dying to get you on here. You are one of those guys who I adore and respect. Thank you so much for coming by and blessing us with your presence, buddy.
Hey, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. I had a ton of fun. Love to do it again when the schedule allows. It's just my schedule's so up in the air. I never know, but when it works out, we'll figure it out for sure.
Yeah, amazing, man. Great job today. And if you guys did stick around, great news. I got some breaking news for you guys. You guys ready? On Tuesday, July 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be joined once again by Greg Kellogg and the legend himself, Scott Engel, doing a Drafters Fantasy Best Ball Draft. Save the date. Tuesday, July 23rd. JC's at 8:30. JC's in 3 minutes. The King. Yes, sir. The King. We got the King, Scott Engel. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be great having him and Greg on. I'm really looking forward to that show. I'm looking forward to every show. God bless you guys. I say this all the time, and I'll say it again. It takes a village. I love my fucking village. Speaking of my village, go over right now to the sports affiliation because they're going live in 2 minutes. The sports affiliation right now. Put hashtag Disco Raid Let's show them love because they deserve it. Great community. Smash a like, smash a sub. God bless you guys. Until next time, peace and love. Bye now.